Today I'm working on a 20,001 Ford Escape V6 for my main man Matt. Check this out.
Look out!
It's the breather for the PCV valve. 2001 Ford Escape V6 3.0 with a nasty oil leak right down there. So what we found out, some engineer's infinite wisdom, is this breather apparatus here the PCV valve goes into under the upper intake. I don't even think this has a lower intake. Well, I guess if you consider this the lower intake and then the upper is down there. What a pain. If this thing's leaking, you cannot get that out of there without pulling a cylinder head off, which is total crap. So what we're going to do is clean this up really good. Matt's doing a really good job at that, I see. Awesome.
Got a custom tool too.
Ah, Matt's got a custom tool. Show us your custom tool, Matt.
There's a little springy thing that kind of sucked for pulling out taking sockets like it's supposed to, but it's flexible. So I taped some sandpaper so I could get it underneath in there.
Awesome. Wow, that's really good. Ingenuity. That's good. Alright, so if you got to do this job, be ready for it. And there's Matt scrubbing away, getting it all clean. That's excellent. So what we're going to do, because we're not pulling a cylinder head, we're going to use some RTV. What I'm considering, here's the gasket that comes out of it. It's just a rubber gasket. What I'm considering is cleaning this up really good and using it as a guide and putting the RTV after this is nice and dry and cleaned up, putting RTV on both sides, sliding it under the part, getting it in place the best we can, and just get enough RTV on there, and making sure that we use these washers so we don't cinch down the breather cover too tight. And then we will let this skin over real good and just get as much RTV underneath as we can, and hopefully let it get good and dry before we actually start the car, so we don't have any wet RTV going down the oil galley, which is directly below that piece right there. First attempt. Do not try this at home. Okay, doing it in halves is not going to work, so we're going to replace this gasket in quarters. Don't try this at home. Right, Matt?
Nope.
Okay, back to the don't try this at home project. We actually got the took us about a half an hour at least. Got the breather back on. There's RTV, and I do not recommend that. Let me make that clear. But there's RTV on the top of the gasket. There's RTV on the bottom of the gasket. And we just lowered the breather down, so we're going to let it set up a little bit before we put the bolts in it and tighten it down. About 20 minutes or so. So hopefully that'll stop his annoying oil leak. Or more than likely, he's going to have the worst oil leak ever. And then we'll be pulling a cylinder head to get to that stupid breather to change the gasket after cleaning off all the RTV we just spent. After cleaning off all the RTV we just got done putting on. Don't try this at home. This is not a good repair. I really don't want to pull a cylinder head on a 2001 Ford Escape with 100 and how many miles?
186 6,000.
Woo! No thanks. While you're in there does not apply in this case. You might want to stick around for the fun on this one when we start it up. So Matt, what's this thing gonna do when we start it up?
Just oil geysers just gonna come right up out of that stupid water.
So Matt and I have come to the local wrench-apart here in Austin, Texas.
And I just dropped my 8mm socket somewhere.
Oh, nice.
I got a wrench.
Okay, you better find it.
Survive.
And he found a good Ford Escape to score some goodies on. So as you saw, we went to the wrench-apart in Austin. We picked up some parts we needed to fix some things here and there, like door seals and vacuum lines, annoying things like that. And we went ahead and put the motor back together. Everything in the engine's back together. We've started it, we've ran it, we changed the radiator. That was a good score at the wrench-apart. And we changed out some vacuum lines, which these cars are real bad for the vacuum lines just deteriorating. Here's a couple here that we just put some silicone over because they were just basically crumbling in your hand. And we picked up a new cruise control unit. We have yet to see if that's going to work. But the good news is there's no oil leaks from the oil breather that's under the intake, under the fuel rail, and down on the block. And the PCV valve goes in that. So that is a big issue with these, and you do not want to have an issue with that. Otherwise, you're going to build up too much crankcase pressure, and you will blow your rear main seal and your front main seal out potentially, and have nothing but oil leaks, and that ends up being a new engine. So the fact we got the PCV valve changed is wonderful. So this car should be good to go for quite a while. New vacuum lines, new radiator, new cruise control unit, new PCV valve, and some other little things here and there that will just increase this car's reliability and longevity for years to come. What do you think about having the carts paid for, Matt?
It's great.
So has the maintenance money been as much as the car payment?
No.
There you go. Oh, so we fixed the, it had a coolant leak. So that was coming from the tanks on the radiator. That was showing up right down here. So with the new radiator, we took care of that. And with the PCV housing down in there that we, the crankcase breather, we should not have any oil leaks from that. So this car should be very reliable and drip or leak free for quite a while. That little housing with the PCV valve in it is called an oil separator, if I remember right. So if you're looking for that gasket, it's not going to be PCV housing or anything like that. It's going to be some sort of oil separator. All in all stuff you can do at home. I would not recommend the repair like we did on the breather housing. Ultimately, you should have the correct gasket that goes under there. But in order to do that, you gotta pull a cylinder head to get to it and to get it out of there. So don't do it like we did it, unless you have to do it like we did it. Then be very careful and pay attention. Thanks, have a great day. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Hey Matt, what's your favorite YouTube channel?
Jay Hunto's Garage.
Alright, thank you. Hey Matt, what's your favorite YouTube channel?
Jay Hunto's Garage.
What is it?
Jay Hunto's Garage.